For some time now, I've had a lot of questions with regards to what should I give my pets. In as much as you want the best for your pet, you also need to look at your pocket. Let's start with the pet owners. What are some of the things that you think they should feed them? First of all, should they go for home cooked foods or they should go for
This one, if you give some particular answers, you might have a lawsuit on our hands.
For some time now, I've had a lot of questions with regards to what should I give my pets? What food should I give them? Should I go and buy from the pet shop or I should prepare something for them? And in as much as you want the best for your pet, you also need to look at your pocket.
Yes, the economics.
The economics. It is not easy keeping a pet. In fact, it's expensive keeping a pet. So you want to go by it in a manner that will not bankrupt you, and at the same time you give your pet the best of care, because you do not want to bring a pet in your house and just treat it just anyhow. Well, some people do, but I mean, those who genuinely care about their pets would want to do something for their pet in terms of their nutrition. And so, in my opinion, I think if we share with them some of the things they can do for their pets with regards to nutrition, it will really help them a lot. In as much as there are a lot of options that they can choose from, either buying the pet food or preparing it themselves, I think it's nice we also share with them some things from our pet nutrition class, and even to our friends and some of our farmers, some of the things they can do. Because I remember one student did a work, I read a student work on cyanide levels in cassava peels, and there was quite some significant levels of cyanide. So imagine you are giving your goats
The cassava
peels that has too much cyanide. I mean, when they start manifesting certain signs, how would you go about it? So it's expedient we mention some of these things to pet owners and farmers alike on some of the ways they can go about with their nutrition, with the nutritional needs of their animals. Yeah. So let's start with the pet owners. What are some of the things that you think they should feed them? First of all, should they go for home cooked foods or they should go for
this one? If you give some particular answers, you might have a lawsuit on our hands. So we don't have problem with big pharma or big
food brands.
But it's a debate in the veterinary world whether is it to go purely commercial dry food, mostly the kibbles, or home prepared food. But the argument has never had a simple answer, and I think we'll take the middle ground. You can go for the commercial food if you can afford it, because now I think some go as high as 1,500, 2,000.
Yeah, 2,005. Yeah.
Yes, so it's expensive. So not everybody can afford them. But if you have big dogs that are ferocious eaters, like if you have a Bukuta, or you have a I call it a dog like a German Shepherd or Rottweiler who eats a lot, you might end up buying, if you have two or more, you might end up buying more of this food in a month. But if you have a dog like a poodle that eats a little, maybe to you 1 bag can take you for a month. But all boils down to how much you can actually
afford.
And also, I will advise you that before you buy the commercial food, please consult your veterinarian to recommend to you a safe brand. Not all commercially produced foods are safe. I think 2 years ago,
No, just last year.
last year, right, we
Yeah.
had an issue with a dog brand food that
And-
caused a lot of havoc in Ghana. I think, should I mention the name of the company or for
don't- yeah.
yes. So
Just-
for legal issues,
for legal
we'll leave out the
issues.
brand. But it actually caused a lot of dogs in Ghana died out of eating that brand of dog food. So our advice is that ask your vet to recommend to you a safe brand. But now, looking at the economics, how about those who cannot afford to buy this expensive dog food? The options: home grown food, say home prepared food or homemade food. Traditionally, we have to look at what we have in our economy. What is
Yeah.
our part of the world? What can we do? What is safe for our pets? People usually give their pet rice. So rice is gluten free.
Yeah.
So some pets have allergic reactions to gluten. So if they take it, they will get hives and a lot of reactions to it.
Skin
Issues and those
conditions.
things. So rice is relatively very safe. Some people just boil the rice and then they add soup to it. Now the soup is where we have to talk about.
Yeah, that's where the problem is. The
problem comes in.
additives.
The additives. We advise that you don't use spices to prepare the soup of the dog. You don't add onion and then
Garlic.
I think those two can cause anemia, right?
Not necessarily anemia, but the cascade is they react. The elements react with the red cells, and those red cells, the cells that carry oxygen in the body, they react with it and they form an abnormal shape. And when the spleen and the other organs involved in dealing with abnormal cells see them, they sequester them, they hold them captive and destroy them. And so imagine the dog having a lot more of the cells because you
destroyed.
fed them with garlic and spices and onion.
So if you are not careful, you might prepare a very nice light soup that to you is the best light soup in the world, but you will end up sending your dog to heaven. So yes, it's not about it's not about how delicious your light soup. Your husband likes it, but your dog doesn't like it. Don't also, some people also say that when we say don't add spices, you should add salt. You can add salt to it.
Oh, salt is.
You can do
is
some use granite soup for the
Yeah.
dog. Don't your dog is not don't assume that because you like spicy food, you like KFC, so your dog likes KFC.
Or your pets.
You see, your pets, some of the pets, they are like children. What you train them on, what they eat. If you train a child on junk food, he will like junk food, but it's not necessarily good for his health. So don't give them spices.
But I'm beginning to think that the source of most of the liver conditions we are facing is because of this whole
Yes,
thing.
a lot of spicy foods.
Now, it just occurred to me, like I'm recalling some of the cases I've seen and they were liver related. Looking at the class of dogs and the mode of feeding, I think
Yes.
I'm beginning to make sense of
We
it.
have a lot of dogs with.
I think I really should go into looking at data and collecting data on some of these things. But anyway,
So I think those are the. I think apart from the rice, the soup,
Gary too is very fine.
Gary too is it's a good substitute. That's for again we are looking for economic
We are looking at the economic
economics
aspect
of
feeding.
of
I
feeding.
mean, looking at the economy
Yes.
and how
I think
almost all the
some
brands are
dogs
imported.
are allergic to Gary.
Yeah,
I've seen that, so
some are allergic.
You might be giving Gary a dog. If you see that the dog will be losing the hair on the body, those things are signs that it's allergic. Just stop that one and
But
change to something.
I
something
think
else.
that is not necessarily because of the Gary. Because if you supplement it with some of the vitamins, they really
Yes.
do well.
I think fish
Fish oils.
for the omega
Yeah.
omega 6 and those things.
Omega
So I
3.
think you have to balance it. Get I'll call it fish oils if you are going to be feeding them with Gary. Some people want to just give them Gary and palm oil.
Yeah.
What that palm oil story?
Oh, I feed them with the dog just decided
Palm oil.
to.
So yes, you can give them that. Some people give them chicken. Now,
Yeah.
as to whether you should give raw chicken or boiled chicken, I would advise you to give partially boiled chicken,
Yeah.
not raw chicken. And the reason is that, you see, we cannot be assured that our food is perfectly safe. We live in Ghana. We don't live in UK or America where their food system
It's a little bit
it's a
robust.
little robust, and the food is safe. So for all you know, the chicken that you think is safe has salmonella on it. So we advise that you don't give them raw meat per se. Just parboil it a bit, and then you give it to them. That is safe. I can kill or I think parasites. I think for beef and those you can have a lot of parasite worms
Yeah,
and yeah, I
worms
think
and
so. Prevent them from getting these things. Please boil them a bit before you give to them. I think raw eggs, I think the same thing.
yeah.
Salmonella can also be found in
Yeah.
eggs, so
Yeah.
you have to be careful with giving them raw eggs. What again? What kind of local food do you have in Ghana? People have been given to that. Banku. I've seen banku.
Yeah, banku is made of
people-
grain is a
grains,
little bit
yes.
It's also gluten free.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also be careful with banku. Don't give them banku that is moldy
Yeah.
or kinky
yeah.
that is
Kinky
moldy because
that's
of
moldy.
aflatoxin
Aflatoxin.
poisoning, and
You
all,
end
and
up
then-
destroying their liver.
Yes, so don't yes, we know that you like kinky, but please relax for your dog.
Have mercy on their liver.
Relax for,
Have
yes.
mercy on their liver.
Don't feed them moldy food. It's not good for them.
We just did a quick tour into some of the things you can feed your pets. What about our friends, our farmer friends? I mean, eh, some of them really have to go through a lot to get their sheep and goats food. I mean, small ruminants,
Yes.
and even some in the pig industry. Recently, we've had, I think over the past few years, we've had issues of African swine fever, ASF, here and there. And when it happens, the farm needs to be cleared because you end up contaminating
Spreading to
other
other
farms.
farms.
And you know, our animal production industry today thrives on soil. Soil is simply leftover food.
Like restaurant,
Restaurant,
chop
chop bar. And so I think sometimes it's necessary to get them a little bit heated. You don't necessarily have to go and put them on fire, but if you can expose it to a little bit of heat, that would help with dealing with some of the pathogens. Why do I keep using big words? Forgive me. With some of the germs that causes some of these diseases, because you never know. Yeah. And for our sheep and goats, our regular cassava peels and all are good. We just need to make sure they are fresh enough. Yeah. Some too want to dry them, which is also a very good initiative. Yeah. So
I think in this country, I've not seen most people don't utilize hay.
do we do that much grass to even build hay?
But when you farmers who have maize and other things after harvesting rice and those things, those stalks are usually bent.
Oh, some I know some that do.
So we
give-
can
yeah.
we can also
Yeah.
practice making. When we're in primary school, we learn these things, making silage. I think GHS.
Yeah.
Integrated silage. We
Hay
learn
and
making
silage.
silage and hay. Difference between hay and silage. Hey,
Yeah.
white people.
And that question.
What's
Anyway, so I mean, you can make use of all these things with your farm animals. I'll be heading home to go and take a look at some of these animals, and it's interesting to go and see some of them thriving in some of these foods. So yeah, these are some of the things you can give your animals, either pets or food animals. And always remember, especially with our food animals, what you give them is what turns into the fat and the muscle that you get to eat, that you take to the market. And so just as you are, like my friend Sarah will say, if we take care of these animals, we are taking care of our own selves. Because in the end, if they are pets and we love them and we derive a lot of joy from them, their health brings us joy. If they are food animals and we get food from them, in the end, whatever we are giving them ends up in our own bodies.
You drink galamsey water, you drink galamsey.
Yeah, if you give them galamsey water. And that brings me to this point. You just mentioned the issue of water. Quality water. Yes, quality water. As much as possible, if we can, no, just empty their bowls every day and give them fresh water. I think that one works. You won't die. And you wash their bowls. Yeah, you won't.
You won't die.
You won't die by cleaning the bowls of your your pets, you won't die. So clean their bowls, give them fresh water. Be good to them, and they'll be good to you, either in giving you more serotonin through your relationship with your pets or in giving you good quality mates. My name has been Dr. Emmanuel Boachi Nim, and my co-host,
Dr. Henry Asigui Abugri.
and this is the Vet Podcast, redefining veterinary medicine in Ghana. Thank you for joining us, and see you on the next episode.